To get the obvious out of the way, this is just a first impression based on the network test, and the footage shown may not represent the final product. I also ran into some server issues while playing, but once again this is a network test, and that was kind of the point of them doing it anyway. I won't touch on it as I have faith that From Software will be prepared for the full release of the game. I'm also just happy to have been lucky enough to have access to the test. Also, and this should go without saying, but this network test only shows a small fraction of the game. To my understanding, there's 8 total major boss fights in Nightreign, and this test only gives you access to the first. So with all of that out of the way, Elden Ring Nightreign is essentially the exact thing I expected it to be. And that isn't a bad thing, but it's quite interesting to see From Software play it safe with this pretty derivative take on the action roguelike genre. That is not a complaint though. I do quite enjoy roguelikes, and also Elden Ring just so happens to be my favourite game of all time. So it sounds like the perfect game for me. It is strange though. I find Elden Ring quite relaxing in a way with its approach to exploration and slower paced gameplay, but Nightreign is the exact opposite. It feels like they turned Elden Ring into an arcade game, and I'm all over it. It's very fast paced and frantic, so I'm just going to take you through my first victory and show you what it's all about. So you drop into the map all Fortnite style with 2 other random people. I've been playing as the Duchess since I like her blood porn moveset. She doesn't have a lot of health though, but the trade-off is how nimble she is. So to my understanding the map itself is static, but the encounters such as boss fights won't be. From what I played of this network test, all the bosses seem to be in the same place, so I hope that changes in the final build. I also hope that the map locations shift around a bit on higher difficulties or something, because otherwise it will get old very quickly. But anyway, once we drop into the map, we can head basically anywhere. But after clearing this camp and picking up some pretty overpowered claws, we all decide to fight this tree sentinel ripoff. I know what you're thinking, From Software, you're just ripping off Elden Ring's opening. But anyway, since we're all level 1, we get walloped, and one of my party members just nopes out of there. Look, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it's just the network acting up, but they were knocked down, so I'll let you decide what happened. But yeah, that's another mechanic that they threw in. So when you get knocked down, you can be revived up to 3 times if your party member whacks you enough. Quite a unique spin on a revival mechanic. But now we're only a duo, so we both decide to run away and enter this mineshaft for some upgrade materials. And I want to touch on the upgrading mechanics and leveling in general. It's insanely fast and snappy. You just need 1 smithing stone and an anvil that you can find in the open world and you're done. It's the same for leveling too. You just interact with a grace and spam X to level. No worrying about which stats to spec into. Anyway, we exit the mine and jump using these spirit streams, which are just as fun as they were in the base game. We're at level 1, so leg it past this hippo, and because I'm a dumbass, I accidentally run straight into another boss arena. Thankfully my party member has my back, revives me, and we take him down pretty quickly. We've got a couple of levels now, so we have a few options as far as where to go next. This dude seemed to just follow my lead, which I found funny, but I'll chalk it up to teamwork. Heading to one of the few churches on the map, this is where we get flask upgrades as well as a healthy amount of items, which functionally are identical to the base game of Elden Ring. You're just much more limited with how many items you can hold, although I found a pouch being sold by a merchant in another run which was somewhat helpful. We absolutely ruined this hippo's day. You can see there that bleed is just as broken as in the base game. So the central mechanic of this game is the rain, which closes in as the day progresses. I think each day lasts around 15 minutes or so, but since I had a couple runs under my belt, I knew where to go. Once it becomes nighttime and you outrun the rain, you have to defeat a small wave of enemies before a mini-boss appears. These bosses seem to be quite a bit stronger than the field bosses in the rest of the open world, and they give you more beneficial upgrades too. This boss just so happens to be the centipede demon from Dark Souls 1, although way tougher. Once the boss is defeated, the rain basically resets and you have another day to explore again and get more items. I decided that we should focus on upgrading our flasks at churches, but before heading to the next one we stop off back at the tree sentinel and absolutely destroy him. So that gameplay loop of going elsewhere, getting stronger and then going back to the boss is still in effect here, and it's just as satisfying as in Elden Ring, although way more abridged. As I said, the second day was essentially just focused on gathering more items and healing flasks, but we did find a stone sword key which let us open up this Everjail, just like in the base game. Unfortunately, I didn't really notice that the rain was closing in, so we fled from the boss and reached this small Urge Tree hologram thing, and we faced off against the second mini-boss, basically Margit the Fell Omen. I don't know why I was disappointed to see an Elden Ring boss in this Elden Ring spin-off game, but after the Centipede Demon I was expecting another boss from a past From Software game. Oh well, he went down pretty easily thanks to bleed and teamwork. Also, you may have noticed these icons at the bottom of the screen. They're special moves that are exclusive to each class. The Duchess can make the party invisible, which can confuse the boss, but She also has this move where she can reverse time and essentially mimic an enemy's attack, which, if timed right, can hit the boss and do some pretty extreme damage. Anyway, with the boss defeated, we enter this gloopy thing and spawn in this unique area which lets us level up and access a merchant as well as an anvil to upgrade our gear. This is the final stop, if you will, before the boss fight. And damn, how cool does this area look? We go through the door and get spawned into what looks like Radahn's boss arena. And yeah, Gladius is the final boss of the run. I wouldn't say that it's particularly amazing or anything. He has this ability where he can split into 3 separate forms, which is obviously intended to target one party member each. But since there were only 2 of us, I think it got a bit confused and it wasn't very aggressive at all. Also, I said it before, but bleed is absolutely busted. Every 3 or 4 hits and I was able to inflict bleed on this boss. Also, once we defeated it, one of the beasts just kind of stuck around. Again, I think it just got confused since there were only 2 of us. And then it just ends. I don't know if there's going to be more cutscenes in the final game or what, but booting us back right into the hub feels a bit rough, but you do get some of these gemstones which to my understanding are like permanent buffs that carry over to each run. But yeah, just based on the short time I played the network test, I think that the foundation of this game is quite good. I think that it might get repetitive after a while if this is all there is to the game, especially if it's a completely static map. But Elden Ring's combat is so good that it'll probably be fun for a few hours at least. Also, I don't think that the game rebalanced itself based on the fact that one of our party members rage quit. I really wish that there is a proper 2-player mode down the road. In any case though, I'm sold on the game and I really hope that they're able to iron out the network issues for release, which again is what this network test is for, so I have full faith in them to do so.